All right, Daniel, here we are.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Fairview.
Is it what's the official name?
Is this your first trip to Fairview?
No, it's not my first trip. You know that.
I know.
I've been invited here before.
The official name of, you talking about the podcast?
Yeah, I mean.
Right now, it's the Fairview Social.
Okay. I listened to the first episode, and I wasn't sure if that was the name of the web page you were referring to as far as the Facebook page, or...
Yes, it'll be the Fairview Social for now. It's funny because that little logo of the head, I literally put into ChatGPT, and it gave me that, so I was like, I'll just use that.
It's amazing.
First spot holder. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, so...
Well, thanks for having me. I'm kind of nervous, to be honest with you.
Don't be nervous, Daniel.
No, I'm trying not to be.
We've been friends for years.
Yeah.
Why don't I start you with a softball here? I'll give you something to lighten the mood here.
Sure. All right.
All right, you ready?
Let's take a look.
How about
Oh my God.
this picture?
Yes. What do you think of that? What first comes to mind when you see that picture?
When I first see that picture, I think of some very handsome gentlemen there.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. Eliteness, maybe?
Eliteness, that's right.
If that's a word.
I mean, Mike's got that look on him like he's going to be like, you know what? Don't fuck with us.
I mean, we are a dynamic duo. I have to admit. So
You're looking good.
I appreciate that. What else we got up there for us?
Let me show you. We get a little Lord in here, a little Mike Lord.
Lord Mike. You know what that was?
I know. You see that what that picture shows you?
Tim? Yeah.
You remember y'all left me out of that?
That was right when we ran the Music City Trail Ultra.
It is. It is.
I think 12K, and I left them, and I ran by myself, and those two guys straggled behind. I just want to get it done.
It looks like you guys are enjoying a beverage there.
We are. They have a keg of beer at the end of it, and
Well, let me
drink as much or as little as you'd like.
That's true. All right, so I'm going to show you one more picture. We'll come back to this in a minute. But I do want to show you the best picture of all time.
Oh my gosh.
Look at us.
Unbelievable.
Mike's not fully gray yet.
No beard for me, no beard for you.
No beards. I just had a goatee back then.
You're about the same weight now that you are then?
Probably. Maybe a little bit heavier now.
Well, you were working out at that point in time.
I think I was.
You were like, I remember you telling me you were like doing snatches and stuff or
No,
whatever.
I never did snatches, but deadlifts.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Stuff
Whatever
like
they
that.
are, yeah.
But yeah, so that was us a long time ago, and
You know what? I'm wearing the same vest.
you are wearing the same fucking vest. Do you not buy new clothes?
Unbelievable. It's a Timberland, man. I got this from Costco. This lasted me for years.
I mean, this picture's probably what, like at least 12 years old, 10 years old.
Mike's been with LSI for, I mean, I think he's going on what, 13 years? 12
Yeah,
years?
it's been a while. I'm 17. You're what, like
15 in April.
Yeah, I was gonna say 15. Yeah, we stick around places, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that's it kind of goes back and forth, you know? Sometimes, you've always heard it's better to stay at your, longevity within a job. But,
Yeah.
Then they tell you, you got to move around and you learn new things. I think, I don't know. It can go back and forth.
No, well, I mean, I agree. Well, the problem is the kids these days, you notice like all the the younger kids will go and work at a job for a couple years and then they go somewhere else.
Right.
Because they're making more money, or they go somewhere to make more money or do something better.
Sure.
Which there's something to be said about that. But I've always been taught that like you go work somewhere and you build a career and a life there.
Me too.
And that's what I've done. But the problem is newer managers of places are younger these days, and they may look at it like, well, look at this old fucker. I don't know if we need this person here.
Right.
What's this person bringing to the table? And I hate to think that people think like that, but unfortunately they do.
I'm always in the thought process too, is that, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sometimes you just got to water your own grass. So.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Hell, I've done landscaping all of my life.
Right.
Some form or another. It's like, what am I going to do? Leave and go to another landscape company where I do the same thing?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I think that it's good that we've been there for a long time.
Yeah. I enjoy where I work, to be honest with you.
So just so the people that are listening to this picture is me and Mike and Daniel. Mike was on the episode number 1.
That was I think that was an apartment complex in Bellevue, if I remember correctly.
It is. It's off Charlotte Pike.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember they wanted to do snow removal on those. You remember they had those blocks I'm like, I don't know if we can plow something like that.
Because I think what we did is we bid the install project. I don't know if we won the install project, but I remember us walking around with those landscape plans and making sure it was installed the way we did takeoff. But anyway.
Yeah. So back then you didn't have a beard or anything, and I remember one of the first conversations that I'd had with you, you were growing a mustache. I guess you grew a mustache before you run a marathon.
Well, here's the kind of the storyline behind the whole facial hair thing. Yes, so I grew a mustache not for a marathon; it was for the half marathon. So a couple buddies of mine had signed up for a marathon, and it was January, and it was the Music City Marathon. I'm thinking, all right, I can train. 26 miles. What is that? I can do that in 4 months.
26 miles would kill me.
It would kill me today. So I'm in the middle of training, probably 2 months in. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get to 26 miles. So I go back and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to run the half. So I start growing a mustache. I'm going to grow a mustache for the half marathon. So I complete the half. That was all good. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go to the next step up and I'm going to complete the marathon. So I start growing a beard for the marathon. And I complete the marathon. I think I ran the Kiowa in South Carolina, the Kiowa Marathon in South Carolina, which was horrendous because it was very flat. Thought it was going to be scenic, but it's like running through the Governor's Club.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of mansions everywhere. I thought you'd be able to see the beach and waves crashing. It'd be cool running on the coast. No. It was running through a fancy neighborhood.
Really?
It was terrible.
Did they advertise it that it was going to be you're on the beach?
No, not really. Maybe that was my fault. So I went with the same two guys, and of course those guys just killed it. I sucked at it. My buddy Max ran it. Literally, he was still smoking at the time. We get off the trolley, and this dude sucks down a dart right before, 15 minutes before we start, and he runs almost a sub-4 marathon. So fast forward, so my next step is I wanted to try to run a trail ultra 50K, and then that's when I just let the beard go out.
Yeah.
And just let it go. And that took me about 2 years to finally accomplish, but I finally accomplished it, did the stump jump 50K, and
it's...
ever since then, I just left it.
I know.
And your encouragement.
I was going to say, I did encourage you because...
You were the only one that did encourage me, because I was very on the fence about it, if you remember correctly.
If you can grow a beard, you got to grow a beard.
Well, if you look at my stubby facial hair, you wouldn't think that we would be able to grow a beard.
Yeah, I know.
Not saying it's still the best. It's a good-looking beard, but I'll take it.
I think I've mentioned this before at some point, but I remember when I was growing up, my dad was military, and so he was always clean shaven, and then he retired, and that's when he started come working with us.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, hey, you need to grow a beard. He's like, I can't grow a beard. And I said, yeah, you
best
can.
Beard at LSI.
Well, it was the best beard. He had a pretty strong one, but it was funny because all of his work buddies made fun of him when he would grow just a mustache, because they could have a mustache in the Army. And so he didn't think he could grow a beard. And then finally I was like, just grow one. So he just let it go. And it's the best fucking beard you've ever seen.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So Mike, he can probably grow a really good looking beard.
He would grow a phenomenal short beard. And I think he would be able to get away with it. I think, the higher ups would let him get away with it, but he just won't do it.
I think he just keep it trimmed up, not let it go crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's short. I would probably keep mine short.
Yeah.
Mine's sparse and long and stringy, and so
it's just kind of like who we are.
Yeah.
Sparse and stringy.
No, we're not.
Sparse and stringy, but yeah, it's funny.
Strong and thick, and no, I'm just kidding.
When I was looking at that picture, I was like, man, because even before, if you did shave your beard, you need to have just a mustache.
Yeah, well, I thought about that. I thought the mustache was good for a while.
It was.
I feel like I was on the trend before it became a trend.
You're exactly right. It was a straight up Freddie Mercury mustache too.
Yeah,
it looked good.
It looked really good. Because I grew up with my dad having a mustache my whole life. Even to this day, never seen him without a mustache ever.
Really?
Never. It would be. I don't know if I would recognize him.
If you rolled up in there and you saw him with no mustache, would you think there was a problem?
It would be. Yeah, I would ask, "What's going on, Dad?"
Anything you want to tell us?
Is Mom okay?
Yeah.
My kids say the same thing. I'm always like, should I shave my beard? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, my wife would like for me to trim my mustache. She wants my lips back, but
yeah, but you're a man. You got to keep your beard.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
So another thing that I was thinking about with you is, I remember you kept on when I first met you. You were always talking about going rollerblading.
Yes. And please tell me you have a video of me rollerblading.
Well, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it,
I'll send you one right now if you can pull it up.
Yeah, maybe in a second. But I was thinking about how you would always talk about it, and I'm like, this motherfucker's just making fun of me because, like, I used to rollerblade all the time.
No, I was dead ass into rollerblading. I mean, it was. I mean, I can give you the rundown for it if you really like me to, but I mean, because I grew up. It started with the Mighty Ducks.
Oh shit! Hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
So I got into hockey, and obviously living in Middle Tennessee. After seeing Mighty Ducks at Cool Springs Mall Theater, walking out, I probably pestered my mom like, "I gotta go get me some hockey skates, Mom. You know, I want the whole get up. You know, this, that, and the other."
Yeah,
that's not feasible because the only ice rink was a sports complex down in Nashville.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's not like you're gonna get a whole lot of ice time anywhere. So what's the next best thing?
Rollerblading.
Rollerblades, baby.
Yeah.
So air hockey, or not air hockey, but just hockey with a light puck or a ball. I remember because we had an aggregate driveway.
God, the wheels on that, man.
Mother effer. It was terrible. So what I would do is I would beg my mom and dad to move the damn cars out of the garage.
Oh, so you could skate in the garage.
Because it was like, that smooth garage, typical cement surface, and it was just, it was like gliding on ice. So I would put I don't know if I can curse on the podcast.
You say whatever you want.
Anyways.
Say whatever you want.
So I would put the garage door down, and that would be like my little rink, and I'd be, it's like probably like no bigger than the size of this Hollywood Studios 2.0, just enough for 2 cars.
Yeah.
But of course, that led on to meeting a buddy of mine in 8th grade and learning about aggressive inlining, and that's where you start seeing these guys, skating ramps and skating rails, and that's when it was like, oh my God, you can get on a handrail and skate down it, like. Yeah. Rest on it and slide. And
how old were you when all this was happening?
It was 8th grade, so that was what, 14?
Yeah, 13,
14. So we connected over that sport, and we were just die hard, probably all the way until sophomore year in high school. And we would skate. There was a skate shop down on West End Avenue where the Caterpillar building is right now. Used to be an old white house called Vertical Inline. Mm-hmm. It still exists. It's called Asphalt Beach now, but it's on the east side of town. If you're looking for rollerblades or anything like that, go check them out. But anyways, we just got into it. So we would go. Ben's mom would drop us off there, and I would rent skates before I bought my own, and then we would literally skate We would skate all around Vanderbilt University. We would skate all the way down to Legislative Plaza at 13, 14 years old. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't allow my kids to do that right now, I don't think.
Well, I wouldn't let my kids do that either, but it's because of assholes like us why they put all those signs everywhere where you can't skate anywhere.
Yeah, but either way, it was a great memories, very fond childhood, exploring that and just skating all around town and looking back on it, I was a soccer player and it must have done wonders for my conditioning.
Yeah.
Back on it. But yeah, man, we learned how to skate rail. We weren't that was no joke. We did do that. We got, I can send videos of me doing it now, but yeah, it became a love and then obviously, you start driving and girls coming in the mix and kind of just goes to the wayside.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this story, but there was when I was in high school, because everything you just said is pretty much the exact same for me on skating, watching the Mighty Ducks, wanting to be like, I want to be on the Mighty Ducks.
So were you were you an inliner too?
Yeah.
I don't know if I was ever aware of that.
Well, maybe I haven't told you that.
I don't think you have. I always thought maybe a skateboarder.
No, never.
Or a punk rocker. I know you were in a band, but I didn't realize you were like, I would strap on the boots. Like, what were your go-to skates back then?
I had some Bowers that I bought. Okay. I got some Walmart ones first.
The hockey skates, yeah.
Yeah, and then when I found out that I really liked it, and honestly, out of all the things I've ever done in my life, it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done.
It's fun.
And so I had the exact same background on that, doing ramps, going around town, doing all that stuff. So I got to high school, I think I was a sophomore, maybe a sophomore, and there's a friend of mine, Clay. He's no longer with us. He died in 2021, but me and him hit it off, and we became really good friends. We played in some bands together.
Yeah.
But when we first met each other, like he was like a year or two older than me, so he had a fucking car.
Yes, dude. I can tell you so many stories.
He had a fucking car. Well, it's funny. He had a little Volkswagen Beetle. Just a piece of shit. I mean, even back then, it was just sputtering, just piece of shit. And so we got to talking, and we're like, yeah, I love rollerblading. And so we bonded on that. But we only talked to each other at school. Yeah. And so finally one day he's like, hey, why don't this week we go to Centennial Park in Nashville and let's go rollerblading. I was like, hell yeah, that'll be awesome.
Dude, oh man, it is so, I mean, like you got me jazzed about this.
So the day comes. So we go out to Centennial, putting around in this little fucking Volkswagen. I had my shitty little Walmart rollerblades. I took my shitty ones because I didn't want to take my nice ones out.
I get it.
But there was a reason why. So, if you know anything about me, I love the art of a good surprise.
Sure.
And so,
as we all know,
we get to Centennial Park and we park the car. And he gets out and he's strapping on his skates and I'm strapping on mine. And we're sitting on the sidewalk and he's like, all right, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And so I get up and like, I slip and fucking fall. And he looks over, not even concerned that like I fell or maybe he's hurt himself.
Yeah, right.
You could just see like all of the just happiness and joy just leave his face because he was like, man, like, because we bonded on this and we were about to fucking just skate around Centennial Park. And he's like,
my best bud can't do it with me.
Yeah. So he goes to kind of help me up and I like get up and I fucking take off like a bat out of hell. And he's like, I like look behind me and he's like, you motherfucker. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah. You playing it the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Element of surprise.
Yeah. We had such a good time. And then, so we bonded on all that stuff and we were making ramps and shit at his house. And I love roller skating,
dude. It was.
I thought you knew that.
No, I guess I didn't. I mean, maybe I did, and it went one ear and out the other. And if that was the case, I apologize.
That's okay. I'm easy to not listen to.
I mean, no, you are. You're a fantastic person to listen to. But I mean, in all honesty, that was such a fun time of my life. I even introduced it to my kids, my oldest, and both my boys. I have a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old, and hell, man, I introduced it to them. I mean, like,
do they like it?
Yeah, they went to the skate park probably 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago.
Really? So, are you actively skating like right now?
I went, and the last time I actively skated, I actually got a couple of videos. Probably like 2 years ago. I was at that Franklin skate park, and I actually had a couple. Not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty proud of myself for a 40-year-old still being able to do some stuff.
No, that's awesome. I haven't put on any skates in a long time ago. I remember when I first got married, I was like, I'm going to pick up skating again. And I went and bought some shitty Walmart skates just to make sure that I was going to get back into it. And then I never did it because I was just too fat. Yeah,
I kind of like lived vicariously through my oldest a little bit because I was like, oh man, because I ended up buying skates too. It was probably like 15 years, or not 15 years ago, maybe like 10 years ago. Bought some K2 fatties. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, but yeah. But my son's rolling around in some nice Rocies, and Bo's got some adjustable ones, so if his feet grow. But I mean, yeah, man, they're all like, it's fun to just kind of share that love, that passion, and see how it kind of transpires.
Well, I never forgot I got that text from you because I didn't know you that well at the time, and I guess we were on a group chat and like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and you were like roller skating. I was like, that motherfucker's playing a joke. He isn't skating.
No,
and then you were into it. I was like, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll send a video for you next time.
You should send a video for me. That's pretty good. So I don't know. It sounds like you're a very active person. I mean, hell, you're out there running half marathons, out rollerblading in your 40s.
Well, I try to be. I try not to be stagnant. I mean, I'm still getting old. I still get tired, but. You find yourself, I think with anything in life, if you don't set goals, you're gonna sit still, sit idle, and I think you need to do that in everything. Whether it's I'm gonna go be able to bench press 135 or run a half K, or not a half K, but a half marathon or a 10K, a 5K, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so I've strived to try to set some goals and try to stay active and I always like to call myself skinny fat. So
You have mentioned that before.
I may be skinny, but I don't. Blood pressure's not the best. Like I checked it this morning.
Yeah.
Like I got one of those ones from Walgreens that kind of electronically does it and reads that first red, and then I do it like 5 times. I read that first red like 3 times, then went down to yellow, and then the last one went down to green. So it's like, I don't know. I check it every now and again, but like just
you got to check it. You got to check it, man. It's like me and Mike were talking about this last week.
And then cholesterol, you dealt with that.
Getting old and
you're not invisible anymore, or so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I think all throughout the years I've tried to do something to remain active. It's almost like I take 5 years off and then I do something for a little while. Like I got really big into lifting, and that's probably second in line to the roller skating thing. Is like I loved lifting weights. Like I would do like a 5x5 routine where you're just gradually going up every few days on the weight, and I was lifting really heavy, and I was losing weight, looking good, eating better.
Right.
You got to eat a lot of protein to do that kind of stuff.
That's something I still struggle with.
Yeah, well, I was eating plenty of protein. Like I got my diet in order, and then I could splurge every now and then, eat some ice cream, justify it by protein, and it was fine. There was no issue. The problem was I broke my feet, and then I wasn't able to do that kind of stuff anymore. But then I was still eating the same as I was when I was lifting.
Yeah,
and so
it just packs it on.
Yeah, so when you're eating that amount of protein and just anything that you put in front of you, which it didn't matter when you're lifting because it's like you're just building muscle.
Sure.
And then like you just stop all of it all together, and it's just like get big. And so I just dropped it. I've tried to get back into it, but it's almost like I can't get into something unless my heart is 100%.
And I'm with you. I'm the same way. It's so hard to describe, but like, I'd much rather probably go. I mean, I'm not running right now, but I always struggled with going in and lifting weights. Maybe because I was never good at it, and I couldn't go in there and bench press, this, that, and the other, and hanging out with all these other guys, and they're all big and massive and doing all this other weight. Of course, you kind of
you're self-conscious.
Hinder away. Yeah. So, but now, I mean, I kind of rigged up my garage where I've got some stuff here and there, and I'm taking some advantage of it. So
I was gonna say, that's what I did, because most guys will probably not admit the fact that like a lot of people don't go to the gym because you don't want people looking at you, and you don't know what the hell you're doing, so you look stupid.
Right.
And so I looked it all up when I just started lifting, and it's like I bought a barbell set for a couple $100, $200 or $300, and like I just set it all up in my garage. Like I would have my camera like videoing, because you don't want to hurt yourself.
Sure.
When you're lifting, it's like form is everything. So you gotta film yourself and see what you're doing wrong. Because
I haven't gone that far.
Well, I was really into it then. But I'm just saying, like, for you don't want to go into the gym. I completely get that. If I was going to say, just get some shit for your house, and then you can do it in your garage and don't have to worry about anybody looking at you.
Maybe I'll just FaceTime you, and you can tell me about my form.
I can't. You can FaceTime me.
Tim, how's it look?
I'll be like, I guess it looks good, Daniel.
Yeah.
No, it's. I don't know what people don't talk about that more. Nobody wants to go to the gym because it
is intimidating. I mean, I'm not saying like, we're 44, about to be 44, you're 44 or whatever. I mean, in this day and age, yes, could I go to the gym and feel okay? Yes, I could, but it's still intimidating. I mean, to an extent. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
You get to the age where you don't give a fuck, which I think that we're at that, but it's not so much the pressure of other people. It's what you think that the other person's thinking.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, people don't give a shit.
Yes,
people are
they're thinking the same thing that you are.
I know people only care about themselves. There might be a bully or somebody out there somewhere.
That's true.
Every now and then. But the reality is most people
I agree.
are just
100%. I agree. And
they're just
I
hard
think
on
you
themselves.
realize that when you get older, like you said, but it's still sometimes takes,
Yeah.
it can rattle you a little bit sometimes.
Well, yeah, it rattles you. It's like nobody wants to.
Yeah,
nobody
but at
wants
the end
to
of the
feel
day,
like
everybody's
that.
just faking it through life anyhow.
Well, that and it also gives people the excuse to not get to the gym or to not do this or to not do that because they don't want to. They want to use the excuse so they don't have to do it. You can get past that if you really want to.
That's a word. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I actually used to be in this gym up here, Anytime Fitness, and I didn't mind it in there, but.
We have one of those by our houses. It just like give you a key code. You just go anytime you want, obviously.
Yeah, I'd roll up in there at like
Fitness.
5 a.m. or 10 o'clock at night when there's like 2 people in there is like when I used to go.
Is the equipment there a decent like option? Like to have good as far as workout equipment?
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
It just like, hey man, there's one bench, there's a
no,
there's like 4 sets of dumbbells and good luck.
No, it's not ghetto like that. It's a legit gym. But it's like fucking $40 a month or something. I don't want to pay.
That's
for
what
that.
like I'm telling. Again, it kind of goes back to what you did. Bought a cheap little bench. Had my dad's old weight set, and then we bought one of those like pull up bar / like it's like
it's like a rack.
It's a freestanding, yes, but it stands like on its own, so you can do like leg lifts and push ups on it. And I mean, between those two. And then I've been doing. It's actually perfect because I've been doing the bands. The overhand pull downs. Mm-hmm. So I just put an old piece of wood in between the 2 handles of the band, and I'm doing my lat pull downs. Like it's there's no reason to pay.
Yeah, you don't need a fucking bunch of money to do something like that. Hell, you go out there and pick up rocks.
I know.
You go up there.
Thank you, Tim.
Pick up rocks.
Bench pressing old tires.
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't bench press a fucking pencil right now, but
I couldn't either.
But it's all right.
Yeah. All right.
So I want to talk to you too about your journeys here to Fairview because a few years ago you were going to come and live out here.
Well, it was on the table, Tim.
I know.
You came out here and looked multiple times.
I know, because it was around the time that I was selling my house down here on Pengrove,
right.
And you were looking, because you were in Antioch area before?
Yeah, we like to call it Cane Ridge, though.
Well...
Brentioch.
Cane Ridge. You call it Brentwood? No. You know how all the people over there on the ghetto side of...
No, we were back behind Lenox Village, but Lenox Village was considered Davidson, or Nashville, but we were considered Antioch / Cane Ridge. And either way, your mail got to you, whether you put Antioch or Cane Ridge. Same. But it was affordable, I mean...
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong.
It's probably the last area that is affordable in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember when you were talking...
in Davidson County.
When you were talking about coming out here, I was like, we might get Daniel reeled in out here.
It was close.
And you came out here a few times.
Our close friends moved out to Hickory, North Carolina, which we love that town. But we looked out there, we looked everywhere. But when COVID hit, it was just like, all right, we got to get the F out of Davidson County.
Yeah,
because the whole school situation. But yeah, we moved on. We moved to Franklin about 4 years ago, off a house that my wife found on Facebook.
Yeah.
She can find anything.
I was going to say you can find anything on Facebook. It's the new Craigslist.
We found her. Hell, the school I'm driving was off a buy-sell trade or something like that. But yeah, so it was a godsend. We were able to find a for sale by owner in Franklin. Wonderful neighborhood, older neighborhood. So we've been there ever since, and it's just I can't say enough good things about it.
Well, we would have liked you to have been out here in Fairview.
I know. But listen,
we as in me.
Yeah, I know. It only took me 30 minutes to get here.
Yeah, I know.
I take the back way through Fernvale Road. The Fernvale. You get the scenic route, and
I used to work at Mellow Mushroom, and I would time it. Of course, I lived on the other side of Fairview. It took me 21 minutes to get from there to there because it's really not that long of a way. It's nice to go through Fernvale.
Yeah,
because you can see the nature. And
I had to pull over and let a truck pass me because he was getting a little frustrated with me because I was just doing my little scenic 35 miles an hour.
Well, the locals like to go quick through there.
Well, I know, and that's why I pulled over, put my flashers on, and let them go because I was just mosey on up to Fairview Social.
The Fairview Social. I've lived in Fairview all of my life.
That's unbelievable.
It is. Actually, it's funny because I got a message from somebody that listened to the podcast. I don't know who it is. It didn't say, and I was unable to respond to it.
Right.
So I'll address it here now.
Okay.
But I've lived in Fairview for I'm almost 45. 40. Yeah, 40. How old are you?
I'll be 44 March 22nd, this Friday.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think that I'm same age.
Yeah, you hope.
Yeah, I'll be 44.
You're 81, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What
I'll
month?
be 44.
What month? Let's think about this. Guys, there's going to be a
July-
number, there's going to be
July.
a number rolling down the bottom of your screen. Please call in.
44. But anyway, so what I was going to say is that I've lived out here all of my life, and I
Like Fairview all of your life.
Fairview.
Like you're not just saying Middle Tennessee, Nashville area, but
Fairview.
literally Fairview.
So
the city limits,
when
town limits of Fairview.
when my mom was pregnant with me, they were closing on they had bought this house.
Okay.
My mom and dad had bought not this house, but bought a house in Fairview, and we were about to move in, and my mom went into labor with me. So I've been since 1981. I've lived out here.
That's awesome.
So when I was fucking 17, I had my bags packed. I was living with my dad.
I'm getting the fuck out of here.
I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, and I ain't never coming back. And fuck this place.
Nah, hook, line, and sinker. You're
And
here
so-
for life, brother.
Got my bags, and you know what I did the day I turned 18? I moved out.
You stayed.
No, I moved out. I moved out of my dad's house in Fairview and moved into an apartment in Fairview. I was like,
You still gained some independence, though, right?
I did, but then when I was living through that period of my life when I was a teenager, I'm just like, yeah, I'm moving to fucking Atlanta. I'm doing all this stuff.
Well-
and then you know what happened? I got married. I started having kids, and I was like, you know what? Fairview's a pretty nice place to raise a family.
It is. And I've always thought Middle Tennessee, I've always known that I was going to raise my kids here or wanted to raise my kids here. But, I like you, maybe not Fairview, but Middle Tennessee, 44 years,
Yeah.
born at Baptist Hospital.
Yeah, me too.
Where were you?
In Baptist Hospital.
That's unbelievable.
But yeah, I've lived out here. So anyway, to the person that I was addressing
Yeah.
that sent in the question, I've lived out here all of my life. What qualifications do I have to have a podcast called The Fairview Social? My qualifications are that I've lived here all of my life.
I'm a lifelong resident.
And so
That's all that needs to be said.
I was talking to Mike the other day about how I don't know if do you have a Facebook page?
No, I have an Instagram page that I check every now and again. I actually opened it up this weekend.
Well, I mean like the city one, where everybody goes to bitch.
No, I don't know. I don't deal with Facebook. I don't deal with any of that shit.
Well, it's very, very
Bitching
active.
because nothing happens.
No, nothing happens, but it's funny to listen to everybody complain on there. But it's like I sit there and think, well, these people have probably lived here for like 5 minutes, and it's like I've lived here all of my life, almost half a century, and it's like I've never one time got on that page and said anything or anything.
It's a
like
great
that.
point. I mean, it's like just shut up and be.
Yeah, I mean it's fun for entertainment value.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm for your behalf.
I've got a guest coming that's the administrator to that page.
Oh my gosh,
It's going to be awesome talking to him about it. Hopefully he's willing to say to talk about the things that go on there.
Make him sign a waiver or disclaimer,
Maybe, but
an NDA.
hell no, I don't know if anybody's listening to this or not that's watching the page, but I'm sure they soon will be.
Of course they will be, Tim.
I know.
It's the Fairview Social.
The Fairview Social. Where all things social
Happen. Well done.
All right, so let's talk about something that I know you love to do.
Okay, what is that?
You love to smoke meat.
I do.
I wanted to talk to you about that.
Well, I love to, but I haven't done it in a while.
Well,
I honestly haven't.
Let me preface it with this. Like when I first started smoking meat, I was using like a Kamado grill, like a big green egg, but I'm too poor to buy a big green egg, so I bought like the off brand of it.
Yeah.
And so I got
It all works the same.
It does. And so like I got real good at doing all that, and then like I started talking to you about smoking meat, and it was weird because like the way that you did it, you were doing it on like
I was doing it old like
fucking like
cinder blocks with a metal grate.
So tell me how you set all that up.
Well, my buddy, my next door neighbor, was kind of had the same setup, but he would do more of a Carolina style, where it actually shovel the coal underneath the meat, right? But he used the cinder blocks and whatever, the grate. And so what I preferred to do is I kind of did a hybrid between a kind of a Texas style, and of course Texas has the central, the east, the west, all those different whatever. but it's kind of more of a firebox, and you're not shoveling coals in there. Yes, you can move the coals kind of underneath the meat once, but it's an offset style, but it's still with the cinder blocks, and it kind of flows through the meat box, I guess, so to speak, from the firebox. And it's I don't know, man. It's just it's old school to me. It just seemed like you're more in tune with what you're cooking. It's not like I'm just going to set it and forget it like on a computer. I mean, I get that, and you just watch your probe all day, but this, you're like really maintaining the fire, and you're blowing on it, and you're looking at the temperature every 5-10 minutes. And
well, that's what I was going to say about the Kamado grill. Is like it's like a step easier than that, but you're still having to maintain it. It's like if you're going to smoke some meat,
you're still involved.
If you're smoking some meat, it's going to be an event.
Yes, 100%. You got to be ready for it.
This was years ago, and then I went over to the dark side, just got a pellet grill, and I set it and forget it. But it's not as good.
It's not. And I mean, I get my, obviously you can go buy a rick of wood somewhere, but I just get my wood from Academy, out of the bags, just a hickory and apple. I kind of like to use a blend, but I did try a brisket because we buy half cows every now and again.
Yeah.
And even if somebody else is cooking for me and it's off the wall awesome, I'm just not a big beef barbecue guy.
Yeah.
I'm more of a chicken, hog.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of hogs, I really wanted to do one for my birthday, but I don't think that's going to happen based on what your experience.
Well, I'll tell you about that in a second.
Because half the battle's finding, that piece of meat. And I think what you found was God, it was a perfect size, probably. But anyways.
Well, tell me, because I feel the same way about beef. Like, tell me about that, because, let me say this. Like, I did a brisket one time,
right?
And I was really I get really nervous about doing this stuff because it's a lot of money to spend on it.
Yes, and it all depends on who you're cooking for, and if you're just cooking for your family, who cares? But
well, I had
a lot of times, like when you're cooking for your family, that's like when the best food comes out, and it's like you're cooking for somebody. It's like, oh,
yeah, I know. Well, it just so happened that when I cooked that brisket, it was for an event or something, and I fucked it up, like really bad, to the point where the people are like, oh no, this is great.
Yeah, I know, and you're like, oh,
I was gonna just throw it in the trash.
Just be honest, it's not good.
But anyway, so like I'm the same. I only like to do pork and chicken and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I learned, so back to the pig. So I'd smoked a pig for Christmas, and I was looking all over the place for a pig, and we found it at Publix. Place
of all places.
A whole pig at Publix.
I mean, can you order me an alligator next time?
I mean, I had no idea that Publix would do a whole pig.
I didn't either. I mean, it was from the pictures that I saw.
It was an experience. I have like 2 pages of notes of things that I need to do different. I've got my naming scheme of them. This one was George Washington because it was number 1.
I remember that.
The next one will be John Adams. So
you're just gonna go on down the line.
I'm gonna go down the line
until you hit what?
We'll go back to George Washington too if we need to.
Wow.
We'll do Trump twice.
45, 47.
We'll do 45 and
47.
But the problem with it is you would do good at this because you understood burning the wood, getting the coals, and then shoveling the coals in.
Yes. So, and that's half the battle from watching all these YouTube videos is that you it's a lot of times. I think I saw one recently is they put the coals around the perimeter of the pit, or just kind of underneath the hams or the shoulders. It's not all like everywhere, and it's just man, it's low and slow.
I did it on the rotisserie, and God, man, it was spinning, and it was only supposed to take a few hours, and it took a long time because I was doing it wrong. I was like just throwing coal in there when I needed it, rather than I needed a separate pit to get the coals hot and then shovel them in. But
and that's where half the battle with doing a pig is because if you do it like a Rodney Scott or a Sam Jones, because Sam Jones is North Carolina, Rodney Scott South Carolina. Which I love that type of barbecue because South Carolina is more of a mustard based vinegar, but so North Carolina it's vinegar based, and that's kind of more my style of sauce but yeah, they have a 55-gallon drum barrel
Yeah.
And they cut it out and they put, spokes through it, whether
Yeah.
it's, old tire, whatever, I don't even know, tire irons or just wrought iron rods through there. And then they just throw the wood in there and then it slowly just comes down the middle or down the bottom of it. And they just shovel it in there and they just sit there for 12 hours and drink beer.
I would have done so much better if I had stuck to my roots on understanding airflow and adjustments and doing the coal. And I just,
yeah, you told me it was going to take 5 hours, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it takes. I mean, just to do a shoulder, it takes 10 hours, and you're doing a whole pig. Like, what is this?
Well,
what is this contraption?
I still believe that it would have only taken like 5 or 6 hours had I done it right.
Why? Because you think
the heat was going up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't keep it steady, and then after you sat there all night, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get some sleep, and then I wake up and the temperature's down to like 80. It's supposed to be at 200 and something, and it's like it was I would call it a disaster. Other people that had the meat and the meat tasted fine.
Okay,
it could have been better.
It was a disaster, but you learned a lot of things.
I did, and I took a bunch of notes because I'm getting old and I easily forget everything.
I'm the same way.
So George Washington has a whole list of notes, so I'm happy to share those notes with you when you do your pig.
So when you do it again, are you going to do it the same way with rotisserie, or would you try to do it a different?
Well, I originally wanted to do it as I wanted to dig a fucking hole in the yard and put it in there.
That's like, no, you don't do that. You have a perfect spot somewhere for a little cinder block barbecue pit.
I know. When I saw you send me a video of that, I was like, I need to get back to basics and do that.
That's it. Dude, all in materials, it was like $150.
Do you have one at your house now?
Yeah, I brought the same at my old house. I deconstructed it. Actually wrote numbers down so I could build it exactly the way that I deconstructed it.
Yeah.
Because it's all seasoned.
Yeah.
The inside of it. So I was like, I'm gonna mark this down.
Oh, so you built it the exact same way it was set up?
So I took a Sharpie out there and a block A, block B, block C, and then just...
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I took it back to my old house, or my new house. Hell, it's funny because when we were moving in, the ladies thought I was building a dog house for my dog. I was like, no, that's my barbecue pit.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's done wonders. I love it. And I'm actually going to upgrade it and do and pour a slab underneath it, a little concrete slab. So that way it's kind of level and it's off the dirt. Not that it matters, but yeah.
It does matter because you're a man.
Yeah, it does.
And when it comes to smoking meat, you got to do what's right.
Exactly right. So no, it's I do enjoy it. So
well, that's good. Yeah. I'm gonna rethink it when I do the second one. I'll probably do something more like that rather than the rotisserie.
I think you should. I think, in all honesty, I really do think you should. I think it'd be better tasting. You're not dealing with bagged charcoal. You're doing wood.
I had that thing fall off the spit. It was like spinning around, and I look outside, and it's like in the fire. I'm like,
no,
Lord.
You just want to,
Also, get all.
I'll help you if you build them back here. I will come over here and do it with you.
We should.
I mean, I'll tell you where to get the grate cut. It's right there by work.
Really?
I went to a place and got one cut per. I built two of them. One at my parents' mountain house and one at my house, our house.
Here, look at this. Let's go back to this picture.
Oh my gosh!
You remember that picture?
Look at those eyes.
Yeah, look at Mike.
Mike is just always styling.
Yeah, he's a good-looking fellow there. Look at this. This
Belmont. Oh my God, Tim!
You like that picture?
What is that? That's for. What is that for?
That was for work. When you
were a branch manager?
Yeah.
Oh my good Lord, that doesn't even look like you.
Well, I mean, it was like when I first became a branch manager. It's not like now.
Do you remember that? I remember that.
Do I remember taking that picture?
Yeah, you were concerned about becoming an account manager.
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Oh, that's fun. I remember that. That was right before y'all went and did snow.
Yeah, that's Joseph there on the left. He's on Saturday. He's coming over Saturday to do the.
Can't wait till we get all four of us back together.
I know it'll be concerning. This is when we were playing Hangman up there in the office.
Didn't you change this picture? I actually was looking at my photos this morning.
Yes, the old.
Yes,
I was trying to find it to put it on here to put the old people.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I couldn't find it though.
I have it. I mean, Too bad I can't. I could send you stuff. I don't know how quickly you can put it up.
Look at that.
Oh, that was fun. That was when we had our hair long.
Yeah.
Again, something you encouraged me to do.
Yeah. And then I cut all mine off.
And then I cut all mine off. I was planning on it, but you beat me to the punch.
I know. I mean, mine was just getting...
Yeah, that was all getting ratty.
Stringy and ratty. It was time for a change.
Look bad with a hat on.
Look at us.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. What I wanted to mention is that this is us 2 separate times from that picture where Joseph and Caitlin were in there of us being at El Guadalajara.
Yes. I haven't been there in quite a while.
I went there a week or two ago.
I know, and you said you're the only one in there.
I know. Again,
we wonder why.
Do I need to rehash the whole? What is your thoughts on it?
I get it. That's funny because you say that because when I was listening to the podcast or the first episode, I was like, "Damn it! I wish I was there. We could all talk about this." But yes, it's baffling to me because it's a ghost town half the time. And
let's rehash it.
How the hell do they stay in business?
Here, let's rehash it for people that have not listened. I think that all Mexican restaurants are drug cartel laundering facilities.
Scheme, somehow a laundering scheme.
If it's not, it's funny. I got a comment on one of the YouTube videos that says,
"That's bullshit."
No,
That's racist.
He said, "I'm from Mexico. This is true."
Are you serious?
Yeah. He was like, "I'm from Mexico. This is true." I was like, "Thank you."
I seriously I hope not, but it's a valid argument. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of times you go in there and there's like 15 waitresses and waiters. And they're like, how do you keep these people on staff?
Well, specifically, a lot of Mexican restaurants are busy and it's all fine. Whatever. I still think there's probably something going on. But this particular one, there is no way that they're able to function with the amount of people that are in there. Every time I've ever been in there, I haven't seen it more than 10 people in there.
And the guy, I'm not going to, but I think his son's daughter goes to our school. So I think we're good there.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen him at one of my son's at lunch things.
Well, do you think that there's something going on with them? Not necessarily that one.
No, not necessarily that one. But yes, I think overall, my number would be 60 to 75% have some sort of nefariousness going on.
Nefariousness. Mike says we don't want to get Ozarked or anything, which could happen.
Which is a great series, by the way.
Yeah, it is a great series. Probably one of the best there is. Jason Bateman,
hook, line, and sinker,
is fantastic.
Oh, he's phenomenal. So
check out that if you haven't seen that.
That's our little drop for that one.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk to you about is Two Sad Dads.
Oh God, okay. Last thing, huh? We're moving quickly on this.
Moving quickly. I mean, we can talk all the afternoon if you want.
No, that's whatever you want to do, boss.
But Two Sad Dads was a podcast that we had a few years ago.
Yeah. And
I thought we only did 2 episodes. Mike said we did 7.
We did a lot. I mean, and as y'all, touched on it last episode, it was always during lunch, and it was outside, and you always had to battle the wind and the birds chirping and everybody chewing and other people at other tables talking, and I felt like you almost couldn't be yourself when we were in those locations. I think we were, but it was still kind of holding back. I don't know. And you felt rushed, and it was just I think we talked about work way too much. Probably, and that's probably...
Well, I mean, the reality is that's what we all have in common.
Well, I get that, but and we were during work hours too, or during lunchtime, or we would meet somewhere and do it. But I envisioned, when I saw Mike's, your first episode with Mike, I was always like, man, we need to put ourselves on camera and do the back and forth. And I saw this, I was like, Tim, you fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'd always envisioned, but with 4 people. Or I guess, whatever.
I think that once we get Mike gave me a microphone that we can use, and then probably in the next couple of months we'll throw down an episode. I've got a logo that I made that I'll show you when the time is ready.
What?
And we'll revisit Two Sad Dads.
I mean, I'm 100% in.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be the great venue to do it, as you've done a great job with this. And I mean, yeah. 100%.
Right now, it's all about Fairview, man.
That's it. I get it.
It's all about Fairview right now.
We can still deviate from plan A and have a plan B. You can still be rich and famous with the Fairview Social.
Rich and famous.
You can just be your little
Off of a podcast.
producer sidekicks for Two Sad Dads.
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so?
Yeah, I guess so.
I hope so.
Well, I do appreciate you coming out here.
Well, I appreciate you.
It was 30 minutes for you to come out here.
Oh, I mean, 30 minutes is 30 minutes. That's nothing. So
We'll definitely have to have you come back, and you'll need to speed up on the back roads if you want to be a true Fairview. And
I'll try.
all right.
All right. Appreciate you, Tim.
Thanks, Daniel.
All right,